Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our Summer of Profit series. I'm Andrea Bailey-Brown, and I'm excited to be here with you today. I am going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to it. And today it's called Fear Incorporated, and that's where we all reside. And it's where most of us are working a lot of times in our business. We're filled with a lot of fear. We could also call this episode the dangerous mind, because our mind tells us so many things, and sometimes it gets very fearful in there. That is a really dangerous place to be and a dangerous place to actually exist. So there's so many different acronyms for fear. We've heard the one that says false evidence appearing real, forget everything and run. But the one I actually like for myself is feel the fear and do it anyway. So that's the acronym that I like to live by, because I think ever so often we all experience some fear in some way, shape, or form. But the people that are the most successful, they have the fear, but they decide that they're just going to keep going, because what else are they actually going to do? Now, I was at an event I think last week was at a networking event. I met someone there, and they were just a little bit nervous. They're standing in a corner, and they're saying that it's hard. Networking is hard for them, and meeting other people. For me, I released all the fear, because I think I'm just there to meet people. And while she was there standing, being a bit afraid, people were just drinking and enjoying themselves. So the same place, but the mindset as to how we approach it, the mindset was just totally different. So if you're a business owner, you often sometimes think about the fear that you have in maybe going out there, talking to people, networking, meeting other people. But your customers also have their own fears. And the best thing for you to do is to understand the mind of your customer. What sort of fear are they having, and what are they actually experiencing? So the biggest one that they have, the first thing is they're afraid that they might buy the wrong product. And if they do that, then that would be really hard for them. And nobody wants to make a mistake. So the fear of buying the wrong product often holds our customers back. And that's why you can see some companies will have a 30-day exchange period or 60 days, or you often will see no obligations. You can get your money back. You'll see companies offering guarantee. And the reason for that is trying to take away that fear from your customer. They're also having the fear of making a mistake. Once they buy it and it doesn't work, nobody wants to deal with that. The fear of criticism from friends and family, and why did you buy that? What are you doing? That's not such a good idea. And that also drives our customers in how they spend their money and what might happen once they purchase or invest with you. They also have the fear, what if I'm disappointed once I get it? So that's especially, we see that a lot in the online world and in the online space, where a lot of people are afraid to shop online in the beginning, because what if it's not exactly as it looks? What if I'm a little bit disappointed when it shows up? So what people have ended up doing is, that's why the reviews have become so important, because people are trusting other people who have actually bought the product, and then they can tell them, does it fit the way it's supposed to? Does it look? Does it last? So those are some of the things that companies are now doing to take away the fear from their own, from their customers making purchases. One company that really handled this well during the recession was Hyundai. And what they noticed, that their customers were not buying their cars as often, and they actually asked them, why are you not buying? So that's a very good question to ask. Why are you not buying? And what they found out from their customers were that they were afraid that during the recession, they might actually lose their work. And if they did that, then what would they end up doing? And if they lose their job, then they can't pay for the vehicle. So what Hyundai came up with was the Hyundai Advantage, Hyundai Guarantee, where they said if within the year, if you've lost your job, you can return the vehicle, and it won't affect your credit, and whatever money you put down, you'll get that back. So with that, taking the fear away from the customer, Hyundai actually had the largest sales over Chrysler And Chrysler had more cars than they did, more lots and more everything, just by taking that fear away from their customers. All right, so let's now look at, we've all bought something that hasn't worked out, and sometimes we get fearful. So internally, people, that's one of the biggest fear, the fear not of something just being wrong or not working quite right. Now, for the salespeople also have their own rejection, and they have their own fears. And the biggest thing for a salesperson is actually that of rejection and the fear of people not wanting to talk to them or just not getting back to them. So a lot of people have the biggest fear of actual rejection. So having things that will help you to mitigate against that is really important, like going for the no. And the more rejection you're getting, I commend you. It means that you're actually working, you're talking to people. If you're in a business where you're not hearing any no's, it means that you're just not talking to anyone. And pretty soon you're going to be out of business. You will get some rejections, but the best thing to do is to make sure that you keep going, because it will come anyways. And the people that are the most successful have had the most no's, and that's an actual fact. Now in sales, a third of people are coming, a third are staying, and a third are going. So it is part of the process, and you have to make sure you're one of the third that is actually staying, and that's by not being afraid of rejection. If you are in sales and you're afraid of rejection, it's a very interesting way of making a living, because you're going to find that it's a part of the process. So it's almost like saying that, you want to be a swimmer, but you're just afraid of the water. It really doesn't always work that well, especially if you want to be like a Olympic type swimmer. So make sure that you work through getting rid of some of the fears that you might have. And the more that you develop your competence and your confidence and your selling skills, you're going to find that it won't be as scary to be in sales, and it will pass. So, and develop good product knowledge. The stronger your product knowledge, then you will also realize your confidence build, because if you know about what you're selling, then it will be a lot easier for you. And what we find is that most salespeople don't start making sales calls until 11 a.m. Now, why is that? It's because they are actually afraid of calling people and afraid of selling. So as Brian Tracy would say, eat that frog, get those tough calls out, build your competence, and also build your confidence. And I like to say, feel the fear and do it anyways. Why not? Because you'll be surprised at what's waiting for you on the other side of fear. Now, have a great evening, and we look forward to seeing you again tomorrow for the Summer of Profit series. And have a great evening. Take care. Bye-bye.